Donald Trump is a huge liar.
What lessons can we learn from Donald Trump, in parentheses, an evil king presidency? What lessons do you think we could take away, let's say when he's out of office? Who knows what he might do while he's still in office? But as it stands right now, what lessons can we learn from or take away as we go forward into the future? Quite possibly, God forbid, him being reelected. In your opinion, what lessons can we learn from Pop? Or take?
Look at his policies, his ABCs, his attitude, behavior, and conduct.
That's what ABC stands for, attitude, behavior, and conduct.
Okay. You could learn from him by watching just how he thinks, his attitude, his behavior. You know, this Fox 5 News on Channel 26 with Sean Hannity. Who's this other one? Waters, This Is My World. Watch Trump, study him, how he lies. Like I said, he's a pathological liar.
Donald Trump is a huge liar. By now, most people know that, but he doesn't lie randomly. New data showing Trump is lying far more as the midterms approach. Here's the Washington Post breakdown of all his lies and misleading claims. He told about 200 a month, and then it rose in year two, but you see it here exploding as the midterms approach, up to 800 in September. In October, over 1,000 lies or misleading claims. That is more than any other month, obviously, of Trump's presidency. Now, take one major domestic law that passed while Trump was president. The tax cuts, they were, economists say, the 8th largest in history. About 20% of the gains went to the top 1%. And they added $1 trillion in debt over the next decade projected. We were just discussing that in our policy debate. But Trump has been insisting the tax cuts are great and they're the largest in history, which isn't true.
Republicans passed the biggest tax cut and reform in history. We got tax cuts, biggest tax cuts in the history of our country.
Well, we don't air those lies here without a clear fact check. Polls show many voters want some kind of check tomorrow on Donald Trump, but his supporters stand by him even when, this is important, even when they acknowledge he's not very truthful. Take this brand new line from Valerie Wunder, a 34-year-old healthcare worker who spoke to a Times reporter after a recent Trump rally saying, quote, "I can't really say that anything he says is true, but I trust him." I'm joined now by Democratic Congresswoman Jackie Speer and former New York Times executive editor Howell Raines. That kind of sums it up, doesn't it?
It sure does. Most of the Trump supporters just don't want to be told that they made a mistake. And what we have is the president becoming almost hysterical with the kinds of lies that he is telling. 35 to 45 per rally, and it's all about ginning up that base.
Just watch how he lies. What you can learn from him, watching him how he lies, twisted the truth, especially when it comes to us and people of color. CNN does a good job on replaying some of his tweets when they view him, whatnot, because he'll say he'll lie and then try to cover it up. But then MSNBC through Joy and Rachel, yeah, will expose that shit. Okay? So that's what you can learn from Donald Trump and watch from him. And when you start mingling with people, you listen to what they say.
And what they don't say.
And what they don't say. Okay? Based on what this Donald Trump is saying.
Right.
Because a lot of them will be repeating what he's saying.
Okay.
So that's one of the lessons you can learn from Donald Trump. Because you engage in conversations and in discussions, and you listen to him, you hear others saying, repeating what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Why do you think he's been allowed to stay in office for so long? Because prior to Trump entering office, and you might have answered this question already, there was such a high standard or a high bar that a candidate had to reach, right? Before the American public would vote for him. But you said the reason why he got in office was particularly because he bought the election. It was bought with the help of the Russians.
Vladimir Putin.
And it was the electoral college vote that got him. Okay, so that's why he's in there. Why do you think it's so difficult for the, I guess, American structure to get him out? And I guess we touched on that in regards to the impeachment. There's an impeachment process, so you have to follow that procedure. I guess ultimately my question is, does it really take this long? Because the impression that I got when Clinton was in office, they were ready to impeach him in a matter of months and was going to get him out in a matter of months. It didn't seem like it was going to take that long for them to get Clinton out as opposed to Trump. So I guess ultimately that's my question. With him in office for this duration of time, with all the controversy and allegations and the Mueller report about him breaking laws and things of that nature, why is it taking the powers that be of the political structure so long to get someone like that out of office? If you know, just your viewpoint on that, and then I'll follow with the remaining question.
Now, Barr, William Barr,
Okay.
the Adjutant General. He just became the Adjutant General. He has people in place that can protect him, Donald Trump. Now, with the Mueller report, indicts Donald Trump. But this William Barr, the Adjutant General, is refuting what's in the Mueller report. He's supposed to be an objective Adjutant General, Bob Mueller. No, Richard Mueller. He's the one in the report. Barr, William Barr, Adjutant General. He's supposed to be objective, but he's not. He's Donald Trump's personal Adjutant General. So he's doing everything he can to protect Donald Trump. With the Senate, the House of Representatives and the Senate. Now, the Senate, predominantly by Klansmen, are also for Donald Trump. To go through the impeachment process, it takes both bodies, the House of Representatives and the Senate. They have to combine each other. And support me, it's supposed to be bipartisan. Okay? Well, the Senate is not going to indict Donald Trump because they're with him. The House of Representatives can indict, we just left with the House of Representatives, they would have indicted his ass long ago. He would have been out of there.
Okay. Say that again?
I said with the House of Representatives.
Yes.
We left up just to the House of Representatives, they would have indicted his ass long ago. And another thing, the House of Representatives now, you got a lot of blacks who's in powerful positions, such as Elijah Cummings. Okay, and also Elijah Cummings, he's the head of the Judicial Committee. Okay, another one, John Lewis. When he was younger, he's the one that cracked in the head when he walked across that Edmund Peaceman Bridge.
Yes.
Okay, he's also head of it. Then he got this Sister Maxine Waters,
Yes.
head of the Investigative Committee on Finances.
Yes.
Okay, so you got those three in particular
Right.
who are holding powerful positions.
Right.
Okay, and they're also going to bring his ass up on charge, especially now since it's into his finances, which is what he really didn't want to do. Because he was saying that's the red line. You cannot investigate him and his finance, business finances. But with Sister Maxine Waters, and she's chairman of that committee, the Deutsche Bank, and the other financial institutions that loaned him money or whatnot, see, they're investigating that. And they're finding out about his business, his different businesses. He's not supposed to have any business while he's in office. You see, and they're investigating that. So they're going to bring all that shit up in public and exposing all of that. This is what he didn't want. So, and I'm so grateful for this House of Representatives, how the Democrats have taken over that, because like I said, we just missed that bullet. Because in the House of Representatives, what they were leading up to, the Republicans, 2010, Whitewater, no, not Whitewater. Anyway, in 2010, Tea Party. They had put a bill in 2010 in the caucus committee, yes, Senate caucus committee. And what this bill was doing, bill number 1868, HR 1868. They put a bill in because they wanted to repeal the 14th Amendment. Now, the 13th Amendment is the one that freed the slaves, our forefathers. Because at that time they had to walk around in chains, shackles, and also with ropes and shit. 246 years of that shit. That's what the 13th Amendment did. The 14th Amendment made us citizens of this country. And the 15th Amendment gave us the right to vote. Since the Klan, Tea Party, and the Klan couldn't stop us from voting, so the next thing they went after was the 14th Amendment. And to repeal the 14th Amendment will strip the African Americans in this country of their citizenship in this country. So that bill was languishing in the Tea Party Freedom Caucus Committee. Okay? And that bill was languishing in the Freedom Caucus. Now, had the Republicans won this last midterm election, they would have acted on that 14th Amendment to repeal that, which would repeal that 14th Amendment and strip the African Americans citizens with second-class citizens anyway, at best. And they were going to strip us from that. Republican Party would strip us from our citizenship in this country. So by the Democrats taking over the House of Representatives, that eliminated that.
If, for example, Trump is impeached before the end of his term, I've heard from various, people, certain meetings, that there's a concern that there would be a white uprising. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you think that's possible? And if it is possible, what kind of danger do you think that puts us all in?
Mm-hmm. White backlash. That's what you're referring to. And because this is something that's promoted by Donald Trump. He's saying that if he's impeached or if he leaves office, then there will be a backlash on that. That's what he's saying. Mm-hmm. Okay? But there's some truth to that. Okay. That would be the spark of another civil war, number one. And if not, fringes of a race war. Most of the suburban white communities are armed. Most of them, maybe not all of them, but most of them. Because these whites know what these African Americans have gone through, and they know that the anger is just beneath the surface. And more or less of a defense to protect themselves, going back to the times of chattel slavery, when they had to deal with the slave uprisings and rebellions. The Second Amendment to the Constitution, no, Second Amendment to the amendments, Second Amendment, was enacted to preserve slavery and to protect the plantation slave owners because of the slave rebellions that taking place at that time.
But if Trump is impeached, why would they even have to worry about that? Because now he's out of power, so wouldn't black people be like, amen, and to some extent go about their business knowing that that tyrant isn't there, right? Why would white people feel, although their concerns are valid where that, the frustration is right underneath the line, but why would culture such as blacks attack whites when the major leader of atrocity against black is now out of office? Why would that be white rebellion or white backlash, why would that be their reaction? Why? Because that doesn't make sense to me. Why would we attack them when the culprit is now out of office, so he can't do it? He can't do us any more harm. I don't understand that.
It wouldn't be so much of us as attacking them; it'd be them attacking us.
Why would they? Oh, because of his impeachment out, so they would be attacking us.
Because they figure themselves now. These whites, those type of whites, see themselves as being relegated to minorities, number one, and they have, under white supremacy, they have this white privilege.
Okay.
And they see that being evaporated and destroyed. Because Trump is out of office, because after all now, he is giving these white racist groups the nod and the go-ahead, to carry out their attitudes and shit. They tell me white crime now, no, not white crime, but white racist groups have increased. Almost tenfold since he's been in office. And since he's not in office, he don't have that power anymore, and they don't have that white privilege anymore. Because now white supremacy itself is being challenged. And it's also being challenged a lot of their own kind. Especially these little multilineal groups that's coming up. Okay. They see the handwriting on the wall. And a lot of them are not voting like their parents used to vote for.
The millennials.
Millennials.
Okay.
Because like I see, they see them, like I see, they see they got to get along with other kids along in their lines. These other kids aren't following their attitude, what their parents would follow for. So that's putting them in the crosshairs, putting the millennials, white little millennials, in the crosshairs, because now they got to deal with kids of other millennial kids of this, say like the Chinese, the Japanese, like the African Americans, and kids of that ilk. And they're not going by what their parents went by. You see. So now they got to make amends for trying to get along with that and what called now their adversaries, the little millennials.
I say, Monica, no be today. Me and you done the fight, don't they? I no go pursue man, I go change my ways. I go reduce the banana, I no go do it again.